my spring semester, I was like, I might transfer. Hi guys, welcome to my little corner of the internet, and today I'm making a video all on Ramapo College of New Jersey. So I wanted to make this video because, to be honest, when I was looking at schools back when I was in high school, I could not find anything on Ramapo College from a student's perspective from any recent years. So I wanted to hop on here and give you guys my perspective and my experience to hopefully help you guys out make a decision. So I realized in my first video, the dorm tour video, I did not introduce myself at all. So I figured I'd take a little time to introduce myself here. My name is Floricel. I am going into my second year here at Ramapo College of New Jersey. I'm an honors student who's majoring in communications with a concentration in journalism. And I'm also a resident on campus. Okay, so before I get into the next part of the video, I do want to make a tiny disclaimer. This video is meant to be a helpful tool, but my opinion is not the end-all be-all of Ramapo College. My experience does not cover everyone's experience or opinion on the school. Make this what you will. Hopefully it helps, but do your research, go visit the school, and make your own choice. So I put together about 4 different topics to go over that I thought were kind of like the central things that people would want to know about. So right here you can find the topics and timestamps if you want to jump around. But the first one I'm going to get into is the campus and its overall locations. I think that it really has the best of both worlds in terms of things to do around the school. So if you're into nature, definitely has things for you. The school has a hiking club, which a lot of people, I think they go every Sunday on hikes. Sometimes they go on picnics. So that's something you can do. There is the Ramapo Valley County Reservation, where there are tons of trails. I think there's a waterfall. So that's something that is readily available to you. I believe it's down the street from the school. So if that's something you're into, we have it. The second part of the location that I personally love is its proximity to New York City. The school is about an hour out from the city, but they make it very easy for you to get there. So if you don't have a car, don't worry, because the school has a free shuttle service for students. The shuttle will take you, it can take you to the train station, which is about 5 to 10 minutes from the school. And from there, you can take the train to New York. If you're not into the train, don't worry, because they also have the short line coach bus that comes to the school. And all you have to do is buy your tickets at the Center for Student Involvement. The tickets are $9 each way, so $18 round trip, and it's super easy. You just follow the schedule, get on the bus, and the bus will take you straight to Port Authority in New York City. I have tried both the bus and the train, and I can say it's very convenient. It is very easy and simple, straightforward. Personally, I like to take the bus because it is cheaper than the train, and it's just a straight shot right there. The con to the location of the school, I would say, is that sometimes you might need a car. Freshmen are allowed to have cars on campus, but depending on your situation, that might not be an option for you. Like me, I didn't have a car, so there were certain places I did want to go, but I couldn't go because the shuttle either didn't go there or I just didn't have anyone to take me. So if you do have the option to bring a car, I would suggest maybe considering bringing it. If you don't have a car, it is not the end of the world. You can take advantage of the services that they do have, but just know you won't be able to go everywhere that you want because the shuttle doesn't go everywhere in the nearby area. Also, I'd say not having a car is not a super big deal, also because a lot of people on campus do have cars, so chances are your friends might have a car who can, help you out, maybe give you a ride. Another amazing thing about this school are the dorms. I know you have probably heard, if you have heard anything about Ramapo College, you have probably heard that they have the #1 dorms in the state, and I know all schools like to brag on their little things, but trust me when they say they have #1 dorms, they do have the #1 dorms. Yes, I lived in Bischoff Hall, which is one of the 2 freshman only dorms. There is Bischoff Hall and Mackin Hall, which are right next to each other. They are identical aside from like the color of the paint. In each dorm, if you haven't seen my dorm tour video, go check that out. But each dorm has its own bathroom. Literally no apartment, no dorm building on the campus has communal bathrooms. You will never have to share a bathroom with the whole floor ever at Ramapo College, which I love. So each freshman dorm has its own bathroom. You only have to share with your roommate. You also get a refrigerator, a microwave. There is plenty of storage. The rooms are fairly big. Like, there's a big space in between me and my roommate's beds. You have your own sides. It was big enough to fit like a mini couch in there, which I had my own little mini couch, a little coffee table. It was really cute, and I really loved it. On top of that, there's also AC, which a lot of schools do not have. AC is amazing because it really did get hot between September and the end of October, even early November. So the AC is a huge plus. You can control the temperature in your room. Obviously, the building, once it switches over to heat, you can't put the AC on, but they do keep the AC on for, a good amount of time, and they keep track of the weather so you're not like burning up in your AC. Each floor also has a lounge. Nothing super special, but they do have couches and just a place to chill if you don't want to go to your room or need to stay up late and you don't want to bother anyone. Next up is the food on campus. Now, a lot of schools, you may have heard horror stories about the food on campus. I would say Ramapo College, you have nothing to worry about with the food. The food is not, like, you're going to get tired of the food. That's a fact because you're going to be there every day eating the food. But the food is not bad. It's not bad. So on campus, we have one main dining hall and then 3 other food places on campus. So the main dining hall is called Birch Tree Inn, and there they have just the basics. They always have available is the salad bar, the deli station where you can make sandwiches or wraps. They always have pasta and 3 different sauces. They always have pizza, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, french fries, chicken patties, 3 different meal plans that you can have. There's the Tasty 10, the Maroon 14, and the Unlimited. For me, the Tasty 10 was enough, which is 10 meals per week, and then $500 in the flex dollars, which is like the school's money, like their own currency. So you can use the flex dollars at any of the other food places on campus, which for me was great because when I got tired of the dining hall, I would just go to the other spots to eat. So the other food spots on campus are Atrium, Dunkin' Donuts, and Starbucks. Starbucks and Dunkin', self-explanatory, y'all have been there before, but Atrium is kind of a collection of a few different places that you can get food. They have the grill, which has burgers, chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, fries, things like that. I think mozzarella sticks as well. They also have like a little Mexican spot. You can get burritos, the little rice bowls, quesadillas, really good. They also have the deli, sandwiches, all that stuff. And they have an Asian spot where they have sushi, lo mein, orange chicken, all of that. I really like Atrium. They also have like a ton of drinks you can pick from: chips, snacks, ice cream. They have Ben and Jerry's. They have all those things that you can, like, really anything you could want. Honestly, Atrium is really good. If you're not feeling the dining hall, head over to Atrium and get yourself something to eat. Guys, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Okay, so overall, things I have said about the school are very positive, but let's talk about the truth. Okay, social scene. Dun dun dun. Okay, let me preface this by saying I am an introvert and I am more to myself, a little more homebody-ish. So take this with a grain of salt. But I have spoken to other people and my friends who are not as introverted as me, and they do agree. And it is what it is. So, the social scene at Ramapo College. Let me just start by saying this is not a state school. This is not Rutgers. Okay, guys? If you're looking for a place where there are crazy parties and all this stuff going on during the weekends, this is not the place. This might not be the place for you, okay? Because we don't have that. So before I started school at Ramapo College, when I was doing research, I did hear things about it being a suitcase school. But I was like, like it's fine, like it's probably not that bad, like these people probably just don't go out much, whatever, like I'm gonna make sure that I'm involved or whatever. But the school is a suitcase school. If you don't know what a suitcase school is, I'm gonna read it out for you so you can understand what I'm talking about. A suitcase school is a college or university where a large portion of the student population leaves campus on the weekends, often returning home. So I kind of brushed this aside when I chose the school, but it is something that did have a big impact, I felt, on my own personal experience at the school, because during the weekends it is very empty. A large portion of the school, like of the students, do commute, first of all. So at the end of each day, a lot of people do leave. But then on the weekends, a lot of people who do live on campus go home. So there are not really a lot of people out and about doing things. There are events that the school does put on during the weekends, but they're not big, like, events where a lot of people are going to, you know what I mean? So if you're into hustle and bustle, if you're into parties and things like that, take that into consideration if you are considering Ramapo College, because me personally, it did have me like, man, like, I'm not a party girl, I'm not into all of that, but even I was like, like there's nothing really to do here, there's nobody out, like, it's hanging out with your friends in your dorm and whatever, doing your own thing is cool for a while, but then sometimes you want to go out and like go to a big event or like do something. So you might have to come up with your own fun, honestly, on the weekends, or it might just be that maybe I'm not getting as involved as some other people. But overall, there are not a lot of people on campus during the weekends. So if that's an issue for you, then that's some food for thought. One thing I will say, though, that is a positive on the social scene aspect is the college programming board. So this is a student-led group that helps come up with events and things for the school, and they're usually like the bigger events on campus. So for example, last spring every year we have something called Po Fest, and they have artists come and perform. So this year it was Boz and Kaz from Dreamville. I personally didn't know who they were, but it was still a good time. Me and my friends went and it was cool. So they have that. They also had like 3 student openers open for the show, and that was probably my favorite part. So they have cool things like that. One time they had glow in the dark roller skating indoors, and that was probably my favorite. So they have things like that during the school year that you can go to. Yeah, so that's one thing I would say. If you go to Ramapo College, if you're thinking about going, just know, like, you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta, sometimes you might have to make your own fun, or make sure that you're being very, very intentional about going to different events, because they do have a lot of events. It's, you know, some of them are not for everyone, but, you know, you can, I think you can find what you like if you really try. If you really try. Okay, now to like the more serious stuff, I guess you could say. You're going to college for an education, hopefully, not just to party and stuff. But let's talk about classes and honors, because I'm an honor student. So the classes, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because it's kind of boring, but the class sizes are pretty small. I think my biggest class was 30, and honestly that number dwindles down as you get deeper into the semester, because people stop showing up to class or they drop classes, yada yada. So if you do come here, you can expect to have smaller class sizes, which is really great, because then you can get to know your professor. I have, you know, reached out to different professors and gotten some good opportunities out of it, even as a freshman. So definitely do that and take advantage of these small sizes, because it will work to your advantage if you work the system, you know. Whether or not you can get the classes that you want or need, for me personally, I never had any issues with this, but I am a journalism major, and the classes for, like, my program is pretty small, so there's no competition really for my classes. If you are like a nursing major, a business major, a psych major, you might have to fight a little bit to get into the specific class that you want, more specifically like which professor. I know that a lot of nursing students, I've heard, having trouble like getting the lab professor that they wanted or things like that, because there are a lot of students studying in those programs. So, you know, you might have to like push off a few classes or settle for another professor, but I don't think it's like a huge deal. But that is where the honors program does come in clutch. It does help a lot to be in the honors program. So a lot of people ask me, like, oh, like, what do you even do in honors? Like, is it worth it? Or people are curious about it because they don't give you a whole lot of information, at least from what I've seen, like on a website or whatever. So to get into really what the honors program is, the core classes, there are 6 core classes that you have to take. Every student has to take, and in the honors program, you take all of those classes except in the honors level, so you're in a separate class but the same topic as everyone else. I've taken, I think, 3 or 4 honors classes, and honestly they're really not that difficult. I took honors social science, inquiry, I took honors arts and humanities, and honors, what was the other one? I don't remember, but they're honestly not that hard. So if you're worried about, oh, I want to do the honors program but I'm scared it's gonna be too much, it's really not that difficult. Also, the other requirements that you have to do for the honors program is you have to attend 3 academic events throughout the entire year, not per semester, the whole school year. You only have to go to 3 events. Each event is an hour long, and it is required to stay in the program or to get the other perks of being in honors. So make sure you go to those, but it's not really burdensome because they're spread out and there are a lot of opportunities, so you don't have to like force yourself to go to one. There's always going to be another one until like the end of April. So yeah, the good thing about honors is that you get priority registration. So this is where it helps if you are a business student, if you're a nursing student, if you're a psych student, or anybody else, but especially those three, because you register a few days before everybody else. We are like the second wave, so first are the athletes, then honors, and then everyone else. So being in honors does help a lot because you get a jump on which classes that you want. Doesn't guarantee that you will get the classes that you want because there are still a lot of honor students who are nursing majors, business majors, psych majors, blah blah blah. But it helps out a little bit. Another perk about honors, I heard mixed things about this, but me personally, I did receive a scholarship for being in honors when I was accepted with my general application. I did hear that not everyone from honors got a scholarship, so I'm not really sure how that works, but there's a chance that you can get a scholarship just for being an honors student, which every little scholarship helps, so that's another good thing about being in the program. Another thing about being in honors that is cool is that you get priority for certain things, or like you get special opportunities. So for example, this summer they had an honors study abroad trip to Prague. So if you were in honors, you wouldn't have had the opportunity, but since I'm an honors student, I didn't go, but I had the opportunity to go on that trip, which it seemed pretty cool from what they told us. Another thing is that next semester I will be in the first ever honors elective. So this elective is on scholarships, prestigious scholarships and fellowships, and the professor running the program has gotten students the Fulbright scholarship and different things that have really helped them grow in their chosen field. So that's something that if you're really serious about advancing in your field of study, then honors can be a really good opportunity for you because there are things that are specifically made for us. Also, another little thing about honors is that you have your own little community within the school. So there's about, I think, 500 students in honors, and they, you get to go through different classes together, events, you meet people, and you start seeing familiar faces around. So it's nice to be like, oh, like I know her from my honors class, and then get to know people that way. Because making friends in college can be difficult sometimes, so having that small community is definitely a plus. Okay, so this wasn't on my original list of topics, but I figured I'd throw it in there because it is important to some people, actually a lot of people, so including me. Okay, diversity at Ramapo College of New Jersey. I'd say, okay, this school is known to be a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. And as you can see, I am a student of color. So being at Ramapo College, honestly, I feel like they do a good job at being very inclusive and also promoting diversity at the school. I'd say that there is a good mix of people who look like me on campus. Honestly, I could say that everywhere I go on campus, I can see a few people who look like me. There's no like, oh man, like I haven't seen, a person of color in days. Like some schools that I visited, like I wouldn't see anybody who looked like me. But at this school, there are a lot of people of color. At least to me, I feel like there are a lot. That might just be because of like where I'm from in comparison to here. Like I grew up in a white neighborhood, so like coming to a school that has a good amount of diversity, I feel like, wow, there's a lot of people here. So I think that if you're worried about that, I would say not to worry. there are definitely groups you can join to find your little community if that's what you want. There are plenty of like Hispanic groups. There's the Black Student Union. There's the United Asian Association, which their events are very fun. Just a little side note. But there are definitely a lot of groups on campus that you can join, and there are a lot of members in each of the groups, especially UAA. I feel like that might be the biggest one. So if you are concerned about diversity, I'd say that we do have a good mix of people on campus. And, you might come and be like, what is she talking about? There's no one. I feel like it depends on the person and how you see it, but I think that they do a decent job at, promoting diversity. Another thing is that the school is growing in their number of first generation students, EOF students. So they are really putting a lot into those programs to make sure that people are getting reached from different places. And you can definitely tell that they do put a lot of effort into making those programs bigger and better. So I guess I'll end the video by saying, do I like this school? How do I personally feel about it? I will say that there was a certain point in my spring semester where I was like, I might transfer, but I'd say that it was based off of what I felt was a lack of, social, the social scene. But back to what I said before, I am very much a homebody, so I realized that it was because I wasn't putting myself out there and I wasn't going to really any events or, going to things where I can meet people and be engaged. So although I did want to transfer at some point, I have since changed my mind and I am going back in the fall for my second year. I'm actually super excited about that. So I do like the school very much. I think that if you are intentional about getting the things that you want out of the school, you will be able to get it and that you will have great experience. But it's not just gonna come to you. Friends are not just gonna appear and you're gonna have this incredible time. You have to put yourself out there and explore. So, I hope that this video could help out some people, get a little bit of insight into the school. I think it's a really good school. If there's anything that you guys still want to know about the school, please let me know. Either drop it down in the comments below or hit me up on Instagram and shoot your questions. I'd be happy to help. And it's a nice place to be. It's not for everyone, but if it's for you, then